Yes?
Am I use my phone in the frame of the iPad?
Almost.
You've already turned the microphone on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
On there, yeah.
The hell is this? It's on the wrong setting. Oh my god.
What setting is it on?
It's not on video. It's on some fucking camera. Damn it.
Okay, I'll mess with that.
Don't worry about it. Oh. What is that? Load. Normal. Yep. It's black and white. Why is it black and white?
I don't know, but you are live on every other device, so.
Fantastic. I don't know how to fix this.
Okay, well, let me mess with it.
Morning, everyone. You know, we can never do a video without having something wrong, and we're always late. So, it's what you get until you work, when you work till 2 in the morning, and try to wake up on a few hours of sleep and do a video, right? So we've got an 18 by 24 canvas. It's already covered in Bob Ross liquid white. You can see, got so many cameras in here because our OBS software and the restream just doesn't like to work for us. So, why is this moved?
So that I could get it out of the frame of the iPad.
Alright, can everyone see me? Let's write some comments. Let's do some stuff. Is this,
Yeah, I can't see it because of the positioning that it's in. So,
trying to figure this out, guys. Sorry, give me a minute. You guys. It's gonna be one of those days. It's already starting out to be one of those days. Already. Okay, well, we're gonna do, you guys have seen the photo. What we're gonna plan to do today, it's like a winter scene that I found from Finland, and we did one painting and it sold, you know, very quickly. So I decided let's do another one. We need to make another one for my store anyway, etsy.com/shop/happylandscapeart. We need to replenish the store, so we're gonna do a little bit bigger one, and we're gonna use 7 colors today. They're all Bob Ross colors, so if you don't have the Magic Fly set, or if you have Gamblin paint or Winsor & Newton, it's all the same. We've got the dark sienna, or the burnt umber, the lighter color brown, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, the midnight black, titanium white, bright red, and Indian yellow. And you can see the size difference in the colors, right? For our crimson, blue, and black, we need a good size, like a big pile of paint, because we want it to be nice and thick and textured in some areas. The white we're going to use the most of, so that's going to be bigger than anything else. About a medium-sized pile of the brown, and then you can see just a little dollop of these lighter colors, because we're only going to use them for a small bit in the sky. Everything else is going to be kind of a purplish, blackish base color with white highlights, because we're going to be doing winter. So let's get this last camera set up real quick, and then we're going to start. So everybody get your colors out. Is it ready now?
it's recording.
There we go. There we go, okay. So we're going live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and then I'll have a more in-depth YouTube video that I'll put out in a couple days where it'll really zoom in and, you know, you'll be able to see a lot of the details, okay? Let's turn this a little bit for that camera. We'll see what we look like over here. Not too bad. We're only going to use a few brushes today, guys. We're going to use about 7 tools, okay? A palette knife, a big like size 10 fan brush, the Bob Ross foliage brush, the big one and the smaller one, right? And then the 1 and 2 inch brush. And then we'll be using a micro liner brush. You can use a strip liner, whatever you have, and that'll be for making our tree branches and stuff like that, okay? So, you know what, we'll probably use some micro liner brushes as well. You can find these on Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, and that's where you'll be able to find all these little micro size brushes that I use. The Bob Ross liquid white, the canvases, the easel, all the paints that I have, the Magic Fly paints, everything that you guys need in order to create a painting just like this, you can find on Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, okay? Alright, now versus the photo that I put up from the old painting that we did, we're going to make it a different color sky, because I hate doing the same paintings over and over again, so we're going to change it up. It's going to be a really colorful sky, and then everything else should be relatively the same. Since we're going live on all my devices here, I don't have the photo to look at, so it's all going to be from memory, and I only painted it one time. So we're going to see if we can get it close, okay? Alright, so we're going to go into our Indian yellow and the bright red. They're going to end up mixing together anyway. So we're going to go Indian yellow and bright red, and we're going to make these, you know, a good amount on this 18 by 24 inch canvas. If you're scaling down or scaling up for a bigger canvas, keep in mind on where, you know, we start with the colors, and that'll kind of help you out, okay? So we're going to come in, we're just going to start dropping in this bright orangey reddish color, okay? And it's going to be in the water. We're going to have some water in this painting. We're going to have a lot of color here. We have this orangish reddish color, right? Put some of your yellow. And don't worry, yours isn't going to look exactly the same as mine. It never does. I can't even ever paint mine the same, and I'm the one that's doing it, right? It's my idea, and I can still never get it the same as I want to get it. So keep in mind, we're not really blending these colors out yet. This is going to be our water. Right down here, right, our horizon line is just about halfway up the canvas. So whatever size your canvas is, excuse me, do a you know, a little bit above the half, a little bit below the half. Again, we're not really blending it out. Just dropping the color on, then we'll go back with our 2 inch brush and we'll blend it out, okay? We're going with our crimson, and I still haven't gotten a new canvas, a new easel for anybody who's keeping score. Josh still needs to get a new easel from Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, okay? That's where you get your supplies. Get all your supplies from my Amazon influencer shop, alright? I'm just gonna bring whatever color is left on our brush back down here. It's all gonna end up being covered anyway. And I'm gonna bring our crimson over. Alright, just kind of dropping it on in different places so it's not super thick. And we'll bring it down, and it'll be nice and soft and pretty much white once you get down around here to the bottom. But we want to have this area of sunlight and then the reflections in our water, okay? Going to our phthalo blue and our midnight black. And we'll just cover up the top of the canvas. Again, it doesn't have to be super dark, but I don't like mine very light either. And then once we get into our crimson area, that's where we're going to blend it all together so you won't be able to really see the difference on the canvas. Okay, we're going to do the top. Because what we do, guys, we always finish the sides. You got to finish the sides of your canvas. You never know if your buyer is going to frame it, if they're going to hang it as they walk down the stairs, and they'll be able to see the top or the sides. So always finish the sides. It takes like an extra 2 seconds. Okay, finish the sides, and then you got this completed looking piece, okay? We're going to take our little tiny little 2 inch brush, right? You guys know how small this thing is. And we're going to come into our lightest area and just in fast motion, just start crisscrossing like this. And that's just going to blend those colors together. It's going to bring the pinks and the oranges together. Just like so, and you're going to get this nice area where you can't tell where one color kind of starts and one color stops, okay? We're going to bring our crimson down into here. We don't want to have any of these brush strokes or hard lines where we drop that paint on. And I always say take the longest amount of time in your sky, right? You don't have a good sky, you're not going to have a good painting. Josh Kirk, right into that. If you don't have a good sky, you're not going to have a good painting, okay? Now, once we come up in here to our darks, I'm not going to want to come back down in here to the lights because it's going to just mess it all up, okay? We're going to blend it. See what I'm doing? I'm going to bring it down, and then this side will bring it down this way. In effect, making those crisscross strokes just at a different time. And we really want to blend this one out because we want it to be this nice, soft sky with no hard lines. So take your time. We're going to be painting for about an hour today, maybe a little bit longer because this is a little bit bigger canvas than the one that I did before on my YouTube channel. You guys can go check that one out. It's one of the more popular ones. It's about 300 something views on YouTube, which is, not easy to do. YouTube seems to be the hardest place to get views. And, I've got a couple that are in the 4,000s, I got a couple in the thousands. And every time you guys view a video, it helps me. So thank you for that. Always go view the YouTube video. Just put it on just go pick one of my playlists, hit play, and just walk away. Go do your day. Just let it play over and over again. And that will really help me out, okay? Let's see. Do that. We really don't need to worry about the bottom of the canvas right now. But we've got our, right about the middle line, got our sunrise or sunset, a little bit of pinkish, a little bit of grayish, and then we'll go throw some clouds on there. Not going to do a whole lot of clouds because we're going to have this big tree coming in. You guys have seen the photo that we put on Facebook of, the event that we're doing today. So we'll have this big tree branch coming in from the side, a couple trees over here. So we don't need a whole lot of clouds. If you do too many, it's going to be harder to do everything else if you've got all this thick paint up in the sky, okay? We'll go wash our brush. We use Jasco brush cleaner and our trusty old beater bucket. See if we can get it in the frame for everybody to see. Trusty old beater bucket. It's got a golf ball basket down at the bottom. So I dip into my paint thinner, which you can find Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. So just beat it down like a brush. Nice and clean. And do our 1-inch brush here. And then I usually just dab them off on a paper towel, which is what I do down here on a frame where you guys can't see. Like this. Just dabbing them off on a paper towel, and that gets most of the paint thinner off. You never get them all the way dry unless you sit here for ages and take a whole lot of time trying to dry them. But it also helps to have the brush a little bit wet when you go back up to do this wet on wet technique, right? Okay, out of our giant paint piles of blue, black, and red, we're going to make up a little bit of our far off kind of tree mixture, right? We take those three colors and we just mix them up right here on the palette with the palette knife. Mix them right out, and we're going to throw in a little chunk of white, right? It's going to bring out this purpley, kind of grayish purple color. And all we're really trying to do is get these to look real far off and distant. So we don't need a whole lot. All right, I'm going to take our fan brush. Get your fan brush out. Once you get done mixing, come back in with our fan brush. I like these size 10 fan brushes. They're the Masters Touch fan brushes. I found them at Michael's. You can find all the fan brushes you guys need on Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, okay? You know what we did in the other one? We put a sun in the other one, so why don't we do that? We'll add one more brush to the mix today, and it'll be the filbert brush. I love this filbert brush. And what we did with that was we took our filbert brush, got a bunch of white on it, and let's just make our sun back in here. Maybe a little bit off center. Was it off center to the right? I think it was off center to the right. We're just going to push in hard like this and just rotate the brush. Right? Spreading all those bristles out to make this near perfect circle shape. And it takes a little bit of practice. So don't worry if you don't get it done right on the first go. Sometimes I don't either. Perfect circle. Just like that. And the more you mix it, the more it's going to blend in with those colors behind it, so you get some of these oranges and reds. Ooh, this looks really good on the camera over there.
you just repeat which blue you used for the sky?
I have phthalo blue today. I normally use Prussian blue, but I'm starting to run out of Prussian blue, and the more and more that I need my little tube, it starts to explode. I've got blue all over my fingers anyway. But yeah, we're using phthalo blue, a lighter color above the blues, with the midnight black. And then with that liquid white that's on the canvas already, it's really makes it kind of fade into this lighter color. All right, I like our little sun over there. Almost forgot to do our clouds, guys. We only need a few. So why don't we do a little bit of blue and crimson, the phthalo blue and the crimson right here. Just both sides of our little fan brush, right? Sometimes we use the 1-inch brush, sometimes we use the palette knife. Today we're gonna use a fan brush, okay? And all we need to do is just make a mess on the canvas. So let's decide, I know where my trees are gonna go, so I need like a big cloud over here. So why don't we just come in, we'll just drop in this funky shape. Right, you guys know how I like my dramatic skies. Just by twisting it back and forth, okay? And you can see how I've left different, and it's thick up here, then there's no paint over here, no paint over here. You don't want it to be all the same, you want it to look messy. And I'll give you the reason. So when we come in with our 1-inch brush and we start to do our little circles, right? Little patented Josh circles, right? It's gonna start to bring that paint down into that area. And you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overmix it. Okay, the more you do, the more it's just going to kind of ruin the depth that you'll have in this cloud. You want these lighter areas and darker areas to kind of shine through. So don't overdo it, right? Never do too much. Don't overdo it. Everything below, about this line where the bottom of our cloud is anyway, is going to be covered in trees. So you don't need to worry about it a whole lot, and then we'll have this big tree coming in, so it's really only this top corner that we're focusing on, okay? Of course, gotta finish the sides, throw a little cloud over here, just a little indication. That way when someone's walking down the hallway, and they see this little mini scene that we've created over here, it's gonna make them wanna turn around and see what we have, right? You just see a white canvas on the side, it's gonna look unfinished, to me anyway. Alright, let's wash off the color off that brush just real quickly. Don't need to get it all off. We're going to end up covering this. This is going to be black by the time we get done with it today anyway, so we'll take a little bit of that white, and we're going to come back up. No, actually what we're going to do, what makes it more realistic to me is when you use a palette knife, okay? You can use a butter knife, or the plastic palette knife. You don't have to have the Bob Ross palette knives. If you don't, you can find them at Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, right? Which is my Amazon influencer shop. But the palette knife just kind of deposits the paint in different places, sort of randomly, okay? So we'll come up and just put a little bit of white up in here. We're gonna decide where our cloud is getting hit by that sun. Right? Don't need a whole lot of paint. Want to drop some on, because again, they're not the focal point of our painting. A lot of my paintings, we've got this really dramatic sky, but in this one, most of it's going to be covered anyway. So without washing our brush, our 1-inch brush from the blending, we're going to come up here and we're going to touch so lightly, okay? Because the more that you touch, the more it's going to blend away, and you're just going to have this lighter colored purple cloud up in the sky, okay? So I just barely just moving it the slightest bit, right? So you have lighter areas, darker areas, again, same with our shadows. We're just barely, not even disturbing what it looks like, just whatever the palette knife left, just kind of disturbing it a little. And then we'll take our clean 2-inch brush, right? Because we don't want to get any dark colors down into where our sky is. We're going to swipe up very lightly, okay? I'm going to zoom in real quick for the Facebook people. Just very lightly touching, right? We don't want to have, am I still in frame, Dave? That's why I hate moving this thing. That's good. Just very lightly going up. We're not trying to smush all that white, right? And then the same amount of lightness, just going to come to the side. Or you can come to this side, whatever's more comfortable for you. And now we've got this far off, sort of distant, sort of dramatic looking cloud right over here in the corner. Let's see what that looks like for the Facebook guys. Of course, the canvas is right where thing is. That's horrible placement on my part, but either way, looks good on this camera, so it's gotta look good on that camera, okay? So just very lightly, that's all we really need to do for the sky. One big honking cloud up there. And then we're gonna take our mixture that we went back and made, right? This sort of grayish, lightish, purplish mixture. Maybe get a little bit more crimson in there. And we're just gonna wiggle the brush right down, right on, covering both sides. Somebody must be here, or the dogs are going crazy, right? All right, we're gonna come in, and we're gonna make this forest, right? This is our distant point way back here. Whenever I'm looking at a photo, I try to look at the furthest away point and then work my way forward, which is how we created this painting in the first place. We were looking at a picture and didn't know how it was gonna turn out, and then it turned out really good. That's why the video came out, and that's why we're gonna do it again today. So we're gonna make the furthest distant point is right here in the center. So our trees over here need to be smaller, and then as they get, closer this way, they need to get bigger, obviously. So we're gonna start over here, and just tap them in like this, right? And as we get further and further closer to the sun, they're gonna get smaller, and then they're gonna stop, just like that. You don't even need to go all the way to the edge. Just wanna make them up, and again, our horizon line we decided was gonna be about halfway, from the bottom to the top. So that's what we're gonna do right here. Gonna leave those just like that. Gonna put one little guy's like hanging out over the edge of all these rest of these trees, okay? And you will see what I mean when we get there. Okay, now we're gonna fog up these trees. So we need to get a little bit of our liquid white from down here, just onto the end of the brush that we cleaned, right? Nice clean brush. Then we're gonna come up and just start tapping. And as we tap and drag down, right? Tap, get some of that color, dragging it down. Get some of that color, dragging it down. Then we come up here, because these are gonna be covered anyway. Don't need to worry about those. But just for my mind, I have to have something to see when I'm moving forward, right? So now we got all this little foggy area. Dab off the rest of that paint. Then we're gonna come in and just make our circles again, just like we do with our clouds, right? You can even bring it over and out. And now our mind is going to make up where the horizon lives on this painting. Since we're in the water right here, this could be some fog rolling across the water. The trees could come down a little bit further, they could be a little bit higher. Your mind will sort of make up what it's gonna look like. Okay, and then everything down here, if you ever need to get any paint off your brush or whatever, do it right down here in the right-hand corner for this painting, because this is gonna be covered with snow, and this is gonna be covered in like a real dark, kind of blackish water. Okay, so we got our fog. You can take these if we wanted to, and just swipe them straight up. Right, that just kind of fills in the rest of those gaps, gives them these real sharp tops to them. And then on our fog, we want it to be a different height. Right, you don't have this straight line across, so gonna come up, come down, come up, however you want, but just don't make it a straight line. That just makes it look, non-realistic to me anyway. Okay, now we got this little bit of far off forest. The rest of this is water, and we'll call it a day. You guys have a great day. We'll see you later, okay? No, that's a joke. All right, that's a joke. Okay, we're gonna come in with our other trees now, which are gonna be a little bit closer than this far off forest is, right? Because we got this river kind of running through the center. So let's get some clean brushes. Get some clean brushes so we can work. I only have one set of the Bob Ross brushes, so you don't want to spend all your time cleaning, but you want to have them sort of clean before you go to do your next color. Then, all right, now we're going to make these bigger, much closer trees, but there's still going to be some space. In this painting, we're kind of up on this little hill, and we're looking down on the water, on the land. So we're going to have a little tree down here. It's actually a large tree, but because we're above it, you know what I mean, we're looking down on it. So you gotta keep that in mind for your perspective. Now we're gonna take some of that purple color that we created these trees with, right? Not gonna throw it away. Why would we do that? Why would we just wipe it on a paper towel? We're just gonna make it darker. Let's grab some of the black, the blue, the crimson again. And we need a lot of paint, right? Showed you guys how big our pile was here versus these smaller piles down here. That's because we need a lot of paint. When you paint with Josh, you make really textured paintings, okay? which means we need a lot of paint. Alright, got that there. Haven't washed the fan brush yet, still has this kind of purpley color on it. So we're just gonna go down, mix it up again, wiggle, 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 right down through, right? And we'll come up and make our trees on this side. So they need to be taller than these trees because we're closer, right? So why don't we go, we wanna leave a little bit of room in between here, so let's go like this. I'm gonna stop about right there. Okay, and for most of my trees, I always go all the way down my trunk, but for these ones, we wanna leave a little bit of the trunk showing. So we're gonna come in from this side, and you see I'm holding my brush on the same, plane that the canvas is, right? We're not coming at it straight forward, because I don't want the top of the brush to be as long as the bristles right here. We wanna, the top of the tree anyway. Just wanna touch it on the corner, and then as we move down, we touch more and more, and now when you're about halfway down, you're using all the bristles on the canvas, touching it once like that, right? That's how you get this very thin top to a tree, and then thicker as you go down. Come back, we'll get some more paint. Maybe we got like one little guy lives over here, this little small little guy. This little bugger. Comes down a little bit more, like so, like so. Again, don't worry about your horizon line over here in the fog. Your mind will kind of make it up. Let's do another guy over here. I like dropping these little trunks as we go down, and what that does is just it helps me come down in a straight line, relatively straight line anyway.
Josh Russ Stevenson says, do you have duplicates of the 1 or 2 brush, 1 or 2 inch brush?
No, I just have one set. I got a 1-inch brush and a 2-inch brush. I mean, my other ones, you should see. This is my old one. Who's asking? On Facebook?
YouTube.
On YouTube. This is my old 1-inch brush. This is my new 1-inch brush. You can see how much, I'll show everybody here. You can see how much I use this 1-inch brush to be able to beat all those bristles off it. I didn't cut this. I didn't do anything. I was just using it, and I saw someone else use a 1-inch brush, and I was like, mine is not that long. Like, and when I finally ordered a new one, I could tell that my other one was just so used up that couldn't use it anymore. But I just have one each, 1-inch brush, 2-inch brush. I need to go on my own Amazon storefront and buy some more. Amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. But yeah, so that's why I was mentioning before how, I don't really, when a lot of my paintings, we don't wash the brush a whole lot, and it's because I only have the one set to use, really. So we like to do paintings where we don't have to wash the brush 10 or 15 times, you know what I mean? Alright, let's come over here, and we'll make another tree, like so. I'm already liking how this one is turning out, just from memory, right? Most times if you're going to go paint something you painted before, like a long time ago, you're going to be looking at a picture of it, so you can remember what to do, where you went, stuff like that. Okay, our trees are going to be about that tall. Let's do a couple more. We'll finish off the edge over here just because we made enough paint to do it. Yours doesn't have to go all the way off the side, but if it doesn't, it's not going to look like mine. And let's do another guy over here. Remember, you want to make all these different heights. You don't want to have them all the same height. They don't have to go from shortest to tallest. Just pick different heights. Makes it look kind of cool. Again, we're using the corner, you can see, like this, and then the further we get down, the more we're pushing in, which makes us use the whole amount of bristle. That's why I like these the size 10 fan brushes around the corner, make our little tree shape over here. We do another one off the side. Our little mini scape for somebody, the buyer, who's gonna see it hanging in their living room or down their hallway, and someone's gonna go, oh, what is that? Makes it wanna turn around and see. It looks really good. Okay, we're going to cover up the majority of these little light areas that are kind of shining through the trees, right? Because these are real thick. There's more than just these 5 trees. We've got a whole clump of trees back here, so the light really can't shine through. So make sure you cover up all those light areas as we get closer down to the bottom. And then down here, with that last little bit of paint, we're going to get that big Bob Ross foliage brush, the big one. And all I want to do is just fill in this spot with color, okay? We're not trying to make bushes right now. We're just going to fill in this spot. You can even just go like this. All right? Just fill it in with that dark color, and that way that's going to give us something to bounce our, you know, our other white bushes and stuff off of. Okay? Maybe we're just going to kind of flatten it out with that 2-inch brush. We're going to come back in and we're going to make our tree trunks. We can still use all this dark paint, right? Even though we flattened it out, we still have this gigantic amount. There's a big old hair in here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay, we're going to flatten it out. You can add a little bit more black to it. You want it to be a different color than the trees that we made, right? So add a little bit of black and blue. Then we'll come in here and just ever so often put a bit of a trunk of our tree, right? And then, in between those trees, you can put other little trunks, right? And that'll give us the effect that there's more than just this one line of trees right there. Alright, so this guy right here, just in different areas, and again, we're going to get thicker as we come down to the bottom. Some of these will be covered, some of them won't. So again, put them in different places, different lengths, and different thicknesses. Alright, come up here with this guy, he's got a little bit, and all we're doing is kind of touching and just pulling to the side, just a little tiny amount. Okay? And then again, you don't have to have it connect all the way. And this guy's going to be covered majoritively back here by this big bush, so don't need to worry about him too much. We can put a little bit of a trunk back there. Oh, almost forgot about our little guy over here. Star of the show right here on the edge. Just like that. Alright, now we've got these trunks of our trees. We've got this shadowy dark area below. And it's looking really good. Now what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll highlight these guys right here. This is where our little micro-sized fan brush comes in, right? For me, I like to use the bigger brush to create the tree, and then with the micro-sized fan brush, which you can find amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart, you'll get more little details, right? It depends on the trees that you want to make. So what we'll do, we're going to get a little bit of titanium white, a little bit of phthalo blue, like a little bit, because it's very powerful. Put it over here. And then we're going to scoop up some liquid white. Right, and that's just going to give us this kind of whitish, shadowy-ish, bluish color for our highlights. Don't need it to be super blue, you don't want it to be super white either. In the first painting we didn't put any blue into these highlights. So we'll see what this looks like. Never like having it being exactly the same. Alright, we'll come along here. Let me start in these shadowy areas first. Oh, that looks nice, guys. And all we're doing is just touching and coming down. Right, just barely touching, kind of creating all these little thousands and thousands of little needles that we're making, right? Little pine needles. So on our micro-sized fan brush, it fills up very quickly with paint, so don't go too ham on it. Right, but again, we're using the same technique, the same, on the same angle, just sort of touching, and the more that you touch, the bigger your little branches will become. Going over some of those areas where we made those trunks, but allowing some of the trunk to kind of show through. And we'll come over here on this guy. Just touching, right? We don't need to push hard. We've already pushed hard and created the texture with our big brush. So we don't need to do it with our small brush. And you can see I'm coming down in this Z pattern. Right? So we're coming down and down and down and down. All the while pushing upwards so that our bristles bend and they create these trees that have these upward branches. Over here on this guy. If you come and you push too hard with your highlights, you're gonna make mud. Right? All we're really doing is just touching. And whatever sticks is gonna stick. Whatever doesn't stick doesn't want to be there, so don't force it. You do not have to force it to get it to look a certain way. It's the best part about painting. I never know what it's gonna look like before we get done. And that's because the paint literally tells me what to do, tells me where to go. Got a couple guys out here, but bam. And just like that, we've got this high lit in the shadow, right? So it's not super bright white. We got the blue with it. That's where the sun is way back there and it can't reach all the way around. What do we do on this guy? Just on the right hand side, we'll just take that white and we'll put some white right on just the right edge of him because he's in the sun, okay? Same thing with this guy over here. A little bit of white just on the one side. And again, we're just barely touching. We're not pushing so hard. We're not trying to cover all the blues. A little bit over here too. Just so we can get that light play. Right? Don't need to go all the way down. Maybe this guy's got a little bit. And this guy, maybe he's got a little on the top. That's pretty much it though. Don't need to do a whole lot. You want to have these differences in color. People are going to go to buy your painting. And they're going to be looking at, first, how many different colors you used, how well you use them, your light, and they'll be able to see like, oh, there's purple and blue and white, and over here with the orange and the red, and blah, 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 blah. The more stuff you have in there, the better it's gonna look, right? So we don't just use straight white to do our trees. We did on the first one, and it did sell, but I kept looking at it going, man, I wish I would have added some different colors in there. All right, we're gonna make up some more of this dark mixture, right? So we'll again go with our black and our phthalo blue and our crimson. Mix that up over here. Well, let's get rid of all this whitish blue. We don't need that anymore for right now. Mix up that black, blue, and crimson. We'll probably need a little bit more actually. I'm gonna make some big old bushes over here. And why not? This one's already dirty. We might as well use this one. So what I like to do is just tap it into the paint, right? You get all these little textured bits on your palette. This is what you want it to look like when you pull it away from the canvas over here. So we just tap it in, fill in all those little gaps and empty spaces back there, and then we kind of decide where our land is gonna live. So let's pop a little bush or two back in here, and as we get further and further back, we want it to get thicker and darker. Put a dab in, we'll get some more. We're not gonna cover all those trunks, right? Otherwise, what was the point of making all of them? And you can see we're on this angle like this. That means that's further away. This is closer up. Okay, nice thick textured bits. Right? You want to be able to see them from the side. You want it to look like your drywall or the spackle on the ceiling in some older houses. Thick textured pieces that hang off the canvas, okay? The closer you get, the more textured it is. The further away you get, the less textured it is. You can see this is nice and soft, a little bit thicker. Now we're getting thick. Then we come in with our huge tree. It's gonna be super thick, okay? All right, so I'm gonna take our 1-inch brush. Now we're gonna create some shoreline for our river, and then you'll see what the heck we've been doing this whole time. Right, again, on this little angle, right? Same sort of angle that we're on down here. It's not just straight across. We're on this little slant. And then the further we get down here, the further down it comes. Make it a little darker over here. And that's going to make it look like the water is kind of wrapped around and rolling this way. So this is a little bit further away than these trees are, right? Like that, get our shore going. Finish the sides. Might as well just cover down the bottom on that side. Our little bristle out the way. And then we can come in with that same dark color, right? Because we only have a few. With that same dark color, maybe mix it with a little bit of brown. Throw some brown in there, because we don't need that much brown. I think I put too much brown on my palette already. So mix that up, and we're going to come in and just start throwing out, just blocking in this color, right? And then we'll come over and we'll highlight it with the white. Little snowy bits. Just throwing it in, throwing it in. On this little angle. Am I looking? Yeah. When you paint from an angle like this, trying to stay out of the way of the camera, a lot of times you'll want an area to look a certain way, and it does look that way to you, but then when you look at it, you know, facing forward, you're like, oh, that was not what I had intended. Alright, got our shoreline out there. These little flat bits. We're just really, like, just pushing it in hard. You can hear it. If I ever shut up, you can hear the sound of the knife is making onto the canvas, okay? This dark, brownish, blackish look. And then we're gonna come in with our white. And just like you do on a mountain top, you just, you know, same angle of the canvas, holding it very flat, couple fingers on the edge, maybe, you know, holding our pinky out here just to balance it, and then just come in and very lightly swipe. The whites don't have to connect, okay? You want it to be broken. You want it to look messy. All right, we're on a muddy shoreline right here of a half-frozen river. Does not have to look the same. A little bit of white over here. You'll notice I've left this gap. We're gonna throw a couple big rocks. I probably shouldn't even have done this area right here. We're gonna throw a couple big rocks right there, but had to have it there because I wanted to, just for my own mind. All right, on this guy, we're just gonna use plain old liquid white for our very edge of our bush back here, okay? Don't need him to be super bright, just in the shade. We're not trying to cover everything, okay? And then as we come down a little bit further, everything else is gonna be in the shadow. So we're gonna make up some of that shadowy white and blue with our liquid white. You know, so it's nice and goopy and messy and runny. And these guys will be in our shadow. We're gonna tap it into the brush and then come in and just make our little bushes. Again, leaving dark areas and lighter areas, because not everything is gonna be the same amount of highlight. And you wanna have these distinction in these different bushes, right? Not all the bushes are the same. Oh man, that looks good. The looks look so good. This painting with Nikolai. There we go. Alright, I want to leave this darker area down at the bottom.
Allison asks, can you do the big rocks slowly?
Sure. And over here we're going to take our palette knife, we're just going to scrape in a couple sticks and twigs, like Bob likes to say, right? Just to show that there's something underneath there holding these guys up. You can have one come out the top, wherever you want. Don't need to have too many. They're real far away, so not too many details. All right, now for our rocks, okay, we're gonna have this rock that's kind of covered in front of here on the same, you know, line of our shoreline here. So we're gonna take that dark color again. All right, since we only have a few colors, we're using the same colors over and over again. Take that dark color, we're gonna flatten it out, we're gonna scrape it up. So we've got, you know, like a good amount of it on the knife itself. And then we're gonna come in very slowly and just keep it pushed against the canvas, kind of make this rounded shape. So we go in front of some of the blue, in front of some of that dark. Scrape up all this white right here. All right, get rid of all that. Shouldn't have done that. Come in and just kind of lay on this dark color right into our shoreline, right? You can do another one back here if you want, just a smaller version. And all it's doing is just taking that dark, you want to have these play of light and dark, right? So you have this lighter area, and then you come in with your darker area. Then what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of that Van Dyke brown, a little bit of our white, a little bit more brown than white. I think I said that in the last video too. Make the same mistakes all the time. A little bit more brown than white because we're in the shadow of these trees, right? So we're gonna do it just like a mountain. When you do a mountain, you're gonna do it about, you know, 3/4 in the light, maybe 1/4 in the shadow, or half and half. Okay, so we'll come up and just very lightly, just kind of drop it on. But you want to do it sort of quickly. if you're sitting there going too slow, it's not gonna break for you, it's not gonna do what you want it to do. It actually looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm not even doing anything else. Like, you know, you can easily overdo it, right? So all we did was just drop a little bit of the brown right on top of that thick black, and whatever stuck, and it created these lighter areas and darker areas all on its own. Come in with the small edge of the knife for this little guy over here. You're just gonna drop it on, just like that. It kind of blends out into the shoreline. And you guys might not even be able to see it from back there. Get the Facebook guys, give them a closer look real quick. You see what we did there? This rock, really, you might not be able to tell that it's different from the actual shoreline. But when the buyer is looking at it and zooming in on all those details, they'll be able to see, you know, what it is. Now, we can go back in and fill in that white area that we left blank with some more, you know, snow cover. Let's see what it looks like when we throw some blue in here. A little bit of blue gives us these shadowy effects. Not too much though. The blue is like super powerful. So you just want a little bit. Snow back in there. You guys want to see what it looks like on the side? You gotta buy it. Etsy.com/shop/happylandscapeart. There we go. Drag all this stuff out, get this kind of brownish, shadowy look to it. I do want a little bit of white out here on the edge because that's getting hit in the sun. All right, wipe off the palette knife. Now we're going to come in with that same dark, right? Because we don't have that many colors. This isn't one of Josh's 20 color paintings, right? We come in like this, scrape up a little bit of that dark again, just like we were going to make a rock, but we're going to come back here, keeping our knife very straight, right? Straight to the lay of the canvas. We're talking about this edge right here. Keeping that edge straight. So as we come in, we're going to leave this little bit of shadowy water line back in here. That doesn't all have to be the same. There we go. Doesn't have to connect, doesn't have to be the same. Literally do with it as you please. You want it to be messy, right? Josh, the messy painter. Hashtag the messy painter, because that's what my paintings are. They're a big mess. That's what we do. We make a mess, and then we show you how to come in and sort of make it look realistic. We're taking our liquid white now. I gotta get in front of you guys to see this, because it's gotta be perspectively correct in my mind. Come over here, and again, it doesn't have to connect, so don't worry about it. You want it to look messy. Alright. Now what we should have done before was put in our dark water, but it doesn't matter. Okay, as we get behind the shadow of these trees, a lot of times in nature, depending on the depth of the water, or the shallowness, or the color, it will look black more than blue. The water doesn't have to be blue all the time. So don't make that misconception. It doesn't have to be blue. So we're mixing the blue and the black right on the brush. I'm just going to drop it on. We can come back here and fix that stuff. I'm going to drop it on in different places, different thicknesses, right? You want it to be dark, so you don't have to do any reflections from these clouds, these trees over here. Just dark water, but we're not over mixing it. Don't want it to all be the same color, right? From this side, just very lightly. We want to have a lot of this shimmering coming through still. I'll show you guys why in a minute. Bring that stuff out. Just make it real soft, okay? I make my stuff soft is just doing these circles. Over here we want these straight lines because we want to see a lot of that yellow color, that orangey reddish color. And now we've got our dark sort of water, the light struggling over here to light it up, and then it's becoming dark as the river kind of turns and goes the other way. And then on that side, you don't really have to worry about it. There we go. Just like that. We got this little bit of foggy area back there as the river kind of turns around, then we're going to add our shoreline over here, so don't worry about that. Come back in, throw some water line in here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to connect, it doesn't have to even finish all the way around the edge. It can be whatever it is we want it to be. Nice and ripply over there, right? Alright, we're going to come in and get that same kind of bluish blackish mixture, but not a whole lot, because on this side we're going to cover it with the white, right? So we're going to come in like this, come in from this side, again trying to leave as much of this light area as we can. You don't want to have it, too much. But you want some shadows over here for our snow.
Annette Babcock says, here in Maine, the ocean water often has a green sort of look to it. I have not been able to get that look right. Would you have any suggestions?
For green ocean, I would mix like phthalo green, sap green, white, and dark as well. It just depends, I guess. Just depends on how it would look when I first put it on there. We still got a little bit of this lighter area down here in our water as our whole canvas moves all over the place. Wash off this 1-inch brush. Then we're going to come in with our white. We're going to make our shoreline, okay? We've got this frozen bit of snowy shoreline. That's why you want these shadows down underneath it. So it's not just this straight white snow. You've got some depth to it. Okay, we go over here and we're grabbing just globs of paint. Just kind of dragging it to the side. You can see we're getting a whole ton of white paint, especially as we get closer to us. We want it to be thick. We want it to disperse, drop in different areas all over the place. Sides over here real quick. And as we go this way, you can see the river now. You guys can see my vision, right? It's coming together. Didn't know what you were going to do, Josh, but now I see it's coming together. Okay, nice thick bits of white. We're going to take those with our 2-inch brush and just pull them to the side. That's just going to sort of flatten them out and blend them. But again, we're leaving these lighter and darker areas, okay? Let me come down with this camera. There we go. Lighter and darker bits of our shoreline back here. And the more you do it, the softer they'll get. Now, if all this water is wrapping around, we're going to have some ripples, right? But they're not going to be straight ripples like you would think. They're going to be on a very vertical kind of angle. So we're going to take our knife, we're going to turn the flat edge of it on this 45-degree angle because our river is like that. And we're going to come in and just throw some of these ripples in there, okay? You're like, Josh, what did you just do? Oh my God. Oh no. Just trust me. Just trust. Okay, get some of that. Maybe a little bit along the edge of our shoreline here, just with the blue and black. Nothing crazy. Again, these are just our base shadows, right? Just the shadowy reflections of some rippling water. As we come down like that. white and our titanium white together here. It's a nice sloppy pile of paint. Take these guys, we're just gonna push them over just a bit, just to flatten them out. You got all these rocks and bits. It's a very shallow river right here. And we're gonna come back with that liquid white. We're gonna do the same thing. We're not gonna worry too much about it. You want it to look messy. Right? It doesn't have to look the same. You want it to be messy. This is what water is. Water is not a, you know, oh, that's very uniform, that water. No, it's messy all the time. Sort of what I like about it. Come down like so, like so. Just want to have your perspective correct. Right now it looks like the water is whipped around the side of this thing. Maybe this is an ice sheet that hasn't really melted all the way, and so it's kind of bouncing back and forth between there, you know, not covering all of our shadows. And now we've got this little rippling bit of little white caps everywhere. And then again, we're going to just very lightly, you can go this other way, just kind of swipe over the side, just so lightly though, because your liquid white is, it will blend almost immediately away. Come in, just sort of make some distinctions in those little bits that we just kind of smushed. Totally up to you what you want it to look like. And all we're doing is just pushing real hard and, you know, sort of leaving a line of water. Leave it on line like that, right? If you ever don't like anything, guess what? Take it, blend that sucker right out. Blend it away. All right, I'm gonna throw some dark in there. Blue and black together. This one's looking fantastic. A little bit of that white. Always want to have a little bit of the dark with the light. Right? How's that look, babe?
Looks great on camera.
Nice and messy. Nice messy bit of water back here. And again, back here, we don't know if it's, you know, if it's the fog that's lit up with that color, or, you know, the reflection of the water. Your mind will sort of make up what it looks like, what it's going to be when you go to look at it. There we go. That's a good looking painting right there, you guys. Yes. Alright. Take that, and then we gotta come in and make our big decision, right? What we do, since we're here, we'll do it before. Take our fan brush, get a little bit of the black and blue, and we're gonna come back in and just kind of pop up. Just push it in an upward motion. Right? Get a couple little grassy areas back in here. Just like that. Take the bottom of these, kind of pull them out. Just very messy. Pull them out, just so we don't see the bottom of them, right? Now we've got these little areas of grass that's kind of sticking up through the bottom of our snow. Okay, now we got to make our big tree that's kind of coming in from the side, right? We're up under this tree branch, and we're looking out over this river. That's why we're kind of, our perspective is like we're up here looking down, okay? So let's get some of that blue. I mean, we're not going to need a lot left after this, so you can use the majority of your blue, black, and red. We're going to need a lot for the foliage anyway. For right now, we're going to pull it out. And make a little bit, like kind of dig out a little bit in the middle. I'll show you why. And take our brush, get a little bit of that paint thinner, sort of make like a little pool of paint thinner inside that little area that we just dug out. But before we do that, let's make these branches, okay? We're gonna come in, maybe there's a big branch that lives over here. Branch, my man, right? Coming in like that, and It goes off this way. We're just using a filbert brush to make these bigger sections of the tree right now. This guy comes in from the top. Another branch over here. And then we'll go back in with our liner brush. So just right now, just stick with me, right? Big old arm of a tree. Comes down, comes up, does whatever he wants. Does whatever he wants. He's a friggin' tree. Gonna make like a tree and leave. Ha! Come on, guys, that was funny. Screw you guys, that wasn't funny.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah. You know my dumb dad humor, babe. Alright. We'll come in, and we're just gonna start to straggle these off into our little liner brush, right? You can do the whole thing with a liner brush, it just takes much longer to get these, you know, big thick areas to fill in with your liner brush. And like that, they cross over, they do whatever they wanna do with trees. You can always go back in and get more paint thinner out of your little tub, right? And these don't need to be super detailed because we're going to cover them with a bunch of bushes, you know, a bunch of foliage, a bunch of leaves and stuff. But we do want a few of them sort of hanging out. Just like that. It actually works really good with the filbert brush. And then just kind of trailing them off like this, you know what I mean? Talking to you, babe. Babe, talking to you. Oh, she left. She left me. Alright, let's go over here. This is why we make this so so light over here, because we got these big branches that we're putting in. You want a lot of paint thinner with these bits of tree branch. Just fill it all in, fill in the gaps, do whatever you want. I was saying, it looks neat when you do it with the filbert brush and then come back in with this, right, babe?
Yes,
You don't have to agree with me all the time, babe.
sorry.
You'd say, no, you totally screwed this one up. I prefer you say that off camera.
Okay.
Right, now we got these big old branches that are coming in from our tree. Getting more paint thinner, making more details. Right, a lot of these are gonna be covered, so don't worry about it. You don't need to fill in the entire thing with a bunch of branches. But some of them, especially towards the end down here, you want them to be real sharp because they're still gonna be exposed. You can do as many little bits as you wanna do, or you can come in and do them after we do the big bits of leaves and stuff like that. Which I'm wondering if we should use the foliage brush or if we should use the fan brush like we did in the first one. And just see what it looks like. Try something new, right? Still talking to you, babe, not talking to anybody else. You can leave it like that and like highlight these branches, just leave them bare like that, which I thought about doing in the first painting. We ended up covering them and they ended up looking really nice. Alright, not gonna go too crazy with all the branches. What do you think, babe? Foliage brush or fan brush?
That sounds like a question open to the forum to me.
Oh, don't do that. They always they scare me with their suggestions. Alright, I think we're gonna do fan brush. So again, we're gonna take all this dark paint that we created, right? You can get as much as you want because we won't need much after this. We're gonna save a little bit to do the one tree down here. We can actually do that right now. Let's do that now and get it out of the way.
Scenescape says one of each.
Each.
Allison Fitz says fan. Michelle Cooper says fan.
Fan brush, right. If we want it to look like the other one that we put up, then we gotta do a fan brush. Alright, so for this tree down here, it's sort of on an angle, and we want it again to be really thick, guys. Like, hanging off the canvas, it's so thick. So we're pushing in, we're pulling away, and we're leaving just globs of paint that are sticking to the canvas down here. And this one goes all the way to the bottom. Okay? Again, remember, we're looking down on a scene like this, so this is like a little sapling tree that's kind of growing up. So we'll come back, we're going to highlight him. Nice and thick. Thick highlights. Just like that. We got our little tree right down here in the bottom, full of snow. Won't need that brush anymore. Now we can use up the rest of our paint. Get all that paint. Still got a fair amount of it. Mix it all up, get paint all over my hands. I don't mind. I'm not a glove wearer when I paint. I don't want to get dirty. Because I'm a dirty boy, right? No. Alright. But I don't mind a little bit of paint on the hand or anything else. What are you looking at me like that for? My dirty boy comment?
Yes,
The ladies on here love me, okay? Let's see.
but you have
All right.
pants on today.
No, and I'm not wearing my bra like that other post that was posted in there. Figured out just how many of you disgusting ladies don't wear bras all the time. Who just walks around just willy-nilly? Oh, I just don't get that. It'd be like me not wearing any underwear. Just letting it go. Okay, we're gonna come in, we're gonna make our branches here, right? We're gonna try to remember how we did it the first time. So why don't we start down here, and we're just gonna come in with our fan brush and just push off in different areas, right? Staying on our branches and creating these little bits of foliage on our trees. Remember, you need a lot of paint for this because you want it to be nice and thick, textured. Right, we don't want to cover up everything that we've created. But again, this tree is very close up to us. So, gotta make it look close up, gotta make it textured, gotta make it big. Cover over some of our trunk with it, just wherever you want. Just don't go too crazy, because that's what I did on the first one. Went really crazy, and I ended up not really liking it so much. Alright, these guys up here, you get a little bit, and that's what I love about the fan brush. You can rotate it in different ways and get all these different little bits of leaves. You know what I mean? You don't have that just round brush. If you wanted to make it round, you could make it round, but. Alright, I'm gonna try to cover over our sun too much. Fill in some of these areas. Using both sides of the brush. Down like so. Again, doesn't need to be super full, right? It looks very close to what we did last time. I really like this one. Then we'll throw our boulder in down here. Alright. I'm gonna wash off that brush because we're gonna have to use it one more time. Alright, we're gonna get all of our liquid white that we have left. Get it up here. Make this sort of bluish color with our snow and stuff. Alright, come up here. Some of these areas I'm just gonna very lightly touch with the white up here in the top where they get hit by the snow. By the sun, I mean, not the snow. then down here, it's gonna be a little bit darker of our highlights. And again, we're not gonna cover up all the shadow, right? You'll have no depth if you cover up all of your shadow. So don't go too crazy. Just leave some of it dark. Let those darks kind of shine through. Which doesn't make sense, but that's what I like to say. Let the dark come through. Don't have to cover everything. Down here, maybe in the shadow, it's not as bright because this bit of the tree is back behind our bit of forest or whatever. It doesn't have to look the same.
Josh, Russ Severson says, where can they find Scenescapes paintings? They saw yours, they want to see that, his.
This is not Scenescapes channel. No. Dean. I gotta promote Dean on my own. No, I'm just messing. So you can go to @Scenescape Shop on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, @Scenescape Shop. We did a art off a couple weeks ago. We're gonna do another one here soon. And we did Space Mountains, where I did my Space Mountain, he did his Space Mountain. His really wasn't a Space Mountain. I know you're watching, Dean. You sort of cheaped out. That was like an Earth mountain with a spacey sky. I did a crazy Space Mountain, okay? But we're gonna do it again. We're gonna have another art off. And yeah, Scenescape Shop is where you can find his stuff. He's been doing these really neat, I think he calls them like distributor series, where he does the Paramount Mountain, or he did the Disney Castle, which is really neat. Like I couldn't do a Disney Castle. If he goes, Josh, let's do an art off with a castle, I'm like, I can't do a castle. Definitely not. You're gonna beat me on that one. Alright, let's come in. It looks really good, guys. The only thing I can see is that maybe we need a little bit of dark on our tree branches, like some dark bits of like bark, you know what I mean? Some dark bark. Because we are in the shadow and we want it to be a little bit textured, so we'll take our knife and just different areas of our branches. Just gonna go over it and make this kind of thick textured look to it. Just by kind of touching the knife and pulling it away. Like that. I bet you that's one of Dean's friends, and Dean was like, hey, ask him where you can find my stuff. I know how you operate, Dean, you Newcastlers. Alright, look, we've used the majority of our paint. We got one thing left to do down here in the corner if we're going to make it similar to the other one, and that's we're going to put a big rock down here, okay? Big old boulder. Again, just sort of dragging the dark paint down. And have it go down like that, just filling it, locking it in, right? Just like we would make a mountain. And we'll come down here, fill it in, take the bottom, sort of pull it out. So we got some snow and stuff. Then we'll take our white and our brown, which are the only two colors that we have left. I'm going to do the brown first, just brown on its own. Staying on the right hand side, we're going to create the shadow of this rock. Different places, a little bit of shadow down there. And then we're going to come in with our white and brown mixture, which is much brighter. And we're going to stay in the sun on this side. Just pull it down, nice and soft, nice and easy, and then boom, we got this nice little rock down here. Take the rest of that white paint and throw in some thick snow cover down here at the bottom. You can do it over here. Make these different little bits of snow that is raised or textured. Underneath here. And then bam. Pretty much it, guys. We didn't come down as far with the trees we did on the last one, but it's a bigger canvas. It's always different when you're using a different size than what you did before. So it doesn't need to be perfect. Everybody knows that. This tree down here, so it's really good. What do you guys think? What do you think, babe?
I think it looks spectacular.
Well, you always say that. What does everyone else think? Anyone else? Comments?
Russ Severson says that they just wanted to see how much better than yours than Scenescapes was.
Oh, come on. I mean, it was a competition, but he did a really good mountain. And it was pretty much even in the voting thread to whose was more likable. Not better, not worse, but more likable. More people, it was about even when we did it. That people seemed to like his and mine just about the same.
Scenescape Shop says next time hashtag space castles.
No space castles, Dean. I'm doing space castles. Because he knows I can't paint a building. Like I can paint a cabin, and I can do stuff like that, but I don't know if it would take me a lot longer to do a castle. I really have to sit and think about it.
Hashtag 4-hour YouTube video.
Yeah, right. Just putting a little bit of highlight color on these branches up here. While we, say goodbye to everybody, we can always go to my Etsy shop. This one will be available, etsy.com/shop/happylandscapeart. You can go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/happylandscapes. Go to my Amazon storefront, amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. And what's the last one? Go to my website, happylittlelandscapes.com. My wife set me up with the website. She does everything for me. I literally couldn't do this without her being behind the scenes. Come say hi, honey.
No.
Come into the frame.
No.
Come on.
No.
I'll drag you over here.
No, you won't.
It's probably true. All right. Yeah, besides that, I really like the way this one came out, guys. We got the reflection down here in the water and our ripples and our little, shallow riverbed. Snow looks good. And our shadows got different imperfections, right? Nothing is ever perfect in nature, so you want to have these imperfections. You want it to look different. We can't really tell where the shoreline is back here on those trees. You can see our river comes around. It's just really nice. We got this little bit of lit up fog everywhere. And it's much more colorful than the first painting. So.
Roberta Harris says, did you put the branches on the side of the canvas?
No, I did not. I would have done that afterwards, though. But thank you, Roberta, for reminding me. I always try to stay out of your guys' way so much that I almost forget to do this, and then I have to come back and do it afterwards. Okay. Come over, our branches off over here. This guy over there. On the top. And then we'll fix that guy too. Thank you for that, Roberta. Here we go. Bam. Oh yeah, this one came out a little bit more colorful than the other one did. And I really like it. I hope it sells quickly. A lot of times when I really like one, it takes a long time to sell. And some of my more, my worst paintings, not my best work, sells just like that. So we'll see what happens. But I want to thank you guys for sticking with us. One camera's almost going to die. We've been filming for over an hour, so I lied, like always. Bigger canvas always takes a little bit longer. But yeah, go to my website, happylittlelandscapes.com. You can find every site that I have, every shop, everywhere. Go to amazon.com/shop/happylandscapeart. You can purchase, the same canvases, the same easel, the same brushes, the paints, all the Magic Fly paints that we didn't use today that are very popular. I've been trying to do this Magic Fly kind of trend, right? It's gotten a few of you to buy some. So they're really neat paints. I really like them. They should pay me for how much I talk about them, but they don't. But besides that, I had fun with you guys today. I always have fun, kind of answering your questions, sort of trying to help out. And, I'll see you guys on the next painting, right? What's up?
You should tell everyone about the charity function that's coming up in May.
Oh, for Maria? Okay. May 15th, my friend Maria, she's having abdominal surgery to remove some cancerous tumors from her stomach. She's almost lost the ability to move the lower half of her body. So we're doing a art fundraiser. I've already donated 9 pieces of my, 9 of my paintings or little paddles or different stuff I've donated to her. She opened them live on TikTok, I think it was last Wednesday. But there's going to be 25 to 30 artists that have donated stuff. She's going to have tons of original artwork. If you want to go get it, all the proceeds go towards her surgery. She needs $6 grand. She can't really, you pay for your insurance. They never really covered all of it. So she's raised about 3. She needs another $3 grand left. And on May 15th, as it gets closer on my page, we're going to Promote it more, share it again. If you're my Facebook friend, then you'll have seen it on my personal page a lot. Just trying to help her out. She's purchased many of my paintings. I almost have an entire wall in her house of just my artwork that she loves. She loves my UFO stuff. So, trying to return the favor and get you guys to go over on May 15th, search for @SIP with 2 P's, SIPP, SAS, SASS by Mia, MIA. Sip Sass by Mia with 2 P's, of course, and that will take you to her Sip and Sass page, where she does like wine and paint sort of deal. She's a really great acrylic artist. A lot of times she'll try to do my oil tutorials in acrylic and sort of figure it out, because I'm much different, as you guys know. But besides that, let's go help her out. May 15th, it's coming up soon. We'll have the art auction and try to raise that extra $3,000 for her. So, plus you get a sweet piece of artwork, and you get to feel good for donating and helping somebody, right? So, besides that, anything else, babe, that I'm forgetting? Because I always forget something. Anything else?
Tell them to come back next Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be painting next, so we're going to be moving here soon. So there may be a weekend or two where we don't do a live painting, but don't worry, I'll still be back. Once I get into my new studio, we'll have a new look, and I'm going to do this real big 36 by 48 inch painting on camera. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of new stuff coming up. If you ever have a tutorial or one of my paintings that you've seen, in the Bob Ross group or my Happy Little Artist group, or on my page, Happy Little Landscapes, which you can find, search Happy Landscape Art, right? Happy Little Landscapes is too long of a tag for Facebook, so search Happy Landscape Art, and that'll take you to Happy Little Landscapes. But if you've seen any of my paintings, and you want to know how to paint one, I can easily do a live tutorial, or I can put a YouTube video up of how, to do it. So, I'm here to help you guys learn, right? I learned on my own. I did, I've done probably 300 plus, 400 plus paintings, and every time I learn something new, and you take those bits that you liked about, what turned out good about that painting, and you redo them again, and you forget about the stuff that didn't work out very well, right? So there's been plenty of canvases that I've taken and painted over black, or just chucked in the garbage, really, and started brand new. So you always got to learn something new. I'm always trying to teach you guys new techniques on how to make, clouds, trees, water, rocks. So if you like the way that I paint, follow my my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Happy Little Landscapes, and trying to get to a point where YouTube will actually start paying me money, the tiny amount of money for what you guys are watching, right? So I can't share it to everyone, I can't reach everyone. So if you guys can take this, share it to your page, put it in an art group. I don't care if everyone in the Bob Ross group shares it all at once. That 14,000 shares all in one group, that'd be fantastic. But, need your guys' help to help me reach other people and other new artists, so we can kind of show them how we do stuff around here, right? I know there's plenty of people in here that are watching right now that I've, helped out, either making clouds or making mountains. So always trying to show you guys something new and different, and I never paint the same painting over and over and over again. As I say that, this one was another, but it's not the same. So never paint the exact same painting over and over again. But besides that, we're gonna say goodbye to you guys. I gotta go get ready for work, and you guys have the rest of a good day, and we'll talk to you next Sunday. And we'll be able to we'll probably put this video up on YouTube on Tuesday, nice and zoomed in, back and forth, just like Bob Ross does, where you zoom in on the details and zoom out. So, I can see my wife's like itching whether or not to push the button to stop. Okay, go ahead. No, don't. No, don't. No. Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Have a good day.